Now, from the Low Country's news leader, this is Live 5 News.
Nearly 3 days after polls closed here in the Low Country and across the nation, we still don't know who has won the presidential race.
And it's coming down to just a few states with very thin margins of votes there. Here's a look now at the electoral count at this hour. The candidates need 270 of those votes to win the White House.
According to the results from the Associated Press, Joe Biden is at 264. The president is at 214.
That includes 11 votes from Arizona, which the AP has already called for Mr. Biden. But CBS News has not yet called Arizona for either candidate.
We're still waiting on final results from Georgia, Nevada, North Carolina, Alaska, and Pennsylvania. The former vice president is expected to address the nation sometime tonight. He's made appearances the last 2 days, expressing optimism and urging Americans to remain patient while the votes are counted.
Yesterday, President Trump addressed the country from the White House press briefing room, and he charged voter fraud was going on, saying, if you count the legal votes, he's the winner. But if you count the illegal votes, he's the loser. A number of both Republican and Democratic lawmakers have criticized the president's comments, saying there has been no evidence of fraud in these elections. In the meantime, Governor McMaster says he supports President Trump's efforts to ensure the law is being followed and enforced.
He shared a statement that reads, "The law is clear. All legal votes must be counted and all illegal for fraudulent votes discarded." He also says that it is only through accuracy and transparency that people can have confidence in the election.
Meanwhile, just re-elected U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina says he's giving $500,000 of his campaign funds to the president's legal defense fund.
Senator Graham says he believes the president should fight hard in those allegations of voter fraud.
The senator spoke with reporters across the country today. Lisa Wiseman listened in and has more. Lisa?
So Senator Graham says he thinks within the next 2 days we're going to see real evidence of voting irregularities. Those are his words. But he says if it turns out to be nothing, it will hurt the Trump team. As for his role if Biden wins, he says he will be a solid vote against a radical agenda changing the way America works.
You'll see from me a reliable conservative vote. You'll see from me stopping an agenda I think is bad for the country, but you'll also see in me trying to find common ground that would benefit all of us. And a good place to start, I think, would be the debt and infrastructure and immigration.
He says his win against Democrat Jamie Harrison on Election Day led to a red wave all across the state. In the newsroom, Lisa Wiseman, Live 5 News.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Now, big political news here in the Low Country. Nancy Mace's defeat of Congressman Joe Cunningham. Cunningham conceded that race this morning.
We talked with Representative Mace about her plans for the 1st Congressional District, especially when it comes to a new stimulus package. I'll break down her response. You'll want to hear what she has to say coming up right here at 5:30.
Now, another local race is getting a recount. Dorchester County election officials say they will be recounting ballots in the Dorchester District 2 school board race tomorrow.
There are currently 3 open seats on the school board. The results right now show Ashley Wimberly with 16% of the vote and a 3-way tie for second place between Barbara Crosby, Evan Guthrie, and Lisa Tupper.
Election officials say that recount will again take place on tomorrow.
We are continuing to follow these election results, especially the race to the White House.
So stick with us here at Live 5 for updates on air and online as soon as they come in. Police say a Mount Pleasant woman got the scare of her life when 2 men tried to carjack her at gunpoint.
It happened Tuesday night on Provincial Circle. That's in the Patriots Province subdivision off Coleman Boulevard.
Police reporter Harv Jacobs live in that neighborhood for us. And Harv, folks who live there are very concerned.
And Bill is so concerned that they've put the sign up in the front of the neighborhood that's warning people to please be safe. Folks around here tell me nothing like this has ever happened in this neighborhood. As for the victim, Cops say she did some quick thinking to get away. According to an incident report, the woman says she was sitting in her car in her driveway talking on the phone to her boyfriend. She told officers she heard someone tugging at her door handle, looked up, and saw a man with a gun ordering her to get out of the car. The victim also saw a second man with a gun outside the passenger side door. She told cops she put the car in reverse and drove off. The woman says she managed to close her garage door remotely before she got away. People who live in the neighborhood are watching out.
It makes me think again about parking my car in the driveway, even if I like it, and opening the garage door if somebody's out there, because they could come in right behind me no matter if I hit the close button.
The victim told police the two men were wearing hoodies and masks. Cops went to some stores around the area to see if anybody fitting their description might have stopped by, but they came up empty. Anyone with information on this attempted carjacking should call Mount Pleasant Police at 843-884-4176. Live in Mount Pleasant, Harv Jacobs, Live 5 News.
The Charleston International Airport has new technology in place to keep travelers safe during the pandemic. Today, Live 5 News got a behind-the-scenes look, and the first thing you'll see at TSA is a scanner, which will scan your ID. It will also verify that you have a boarding pass. Then you will take your bags to be scanned. You can now keep electronics and toiletries in your bags that are being scanned because the scanning technology is new and improved. So instead of an X-ray, agents can now see a 3D image of your bag, which is supposed to cut down on additional baggage checks. The goal of all of these changes is to cut back on the number of times that TSA agents have to touch your bags and your documents.
This airport, as well as our other airports here in South Carolina and around the nation, are cleaner today than what they were a year ago. So when we talk about passengers and what we want passengers to think about is really recognize that it is safe to travel. And as we approach the holiday season, we know people are going to want to get out there and travel, and we encourage them to do that.
In addition to agents wearing face coverings and gloves, acrylic shields will also be added to the lines, and an antimicrobial coating is used on high-touch surfaces like those bins. The coating is supposed to neutralize germs for up to 30 days.
The coronavirus still affecting travel numbers here in Charleston and in fact across the country. The Charleston Airport says travel is down right now about 60% below normal. Taking a look at national checkpoint numbers from the TSA so far this week alone, since Monday, about 2.9 million people have traveled through U.S. airports. That's compared to more than 9 million during this same period last year, putting travel down about 70% across the country. And if you plan on traveling but you want to know the risk or if any restrictions are in place, the CDC has information up on their website. It includes warnings about mandatory quarantines you may have to follow. We have a link to that information on live5news.com under our big red box.
All right, we're going to take you outside right now for a live look over the low country. We got some clouds out there, but it is finally the weekend, but we've got some rain chances kicking it off. Chief Meteorologist Bill Walsh in the First Alert Weather Center. And Bill, what are you tracking right now?
Yeah, we have some showers right along a coastal trough right here. That's spinning back, coming in right off the ocean. You see those showers that Stephanie gave you the first alert to at 4 o'clock. And Joey talked about this at lunch. Most of these are going to continue to move on shore here into the evening. Then they'll start to diminish. As we zoom on in, you can still see some light showers across coastal South Carolina here, in particular the metro area over the next little while. Temperatures right now still mild and comfortable. 72 now Moncks Corner, 72 Mount Pleasant, 73 over North Charleston, 70 Walterboro, still pretty comfortable around the area. You've got football plans tonight, Friday Night Lights. We're talking about 68 at kickoff, 67 at halftime by the fourth quarter, still some upper 60s. Most of the shower activity should be diminishing and will be becoming a little bit drier. Now, coming up for us in the next few minutes, we're going to talk more about the rest of the weekend. Plus, Ada, remember the storm? Won't go away. We'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes as well. What about that drive home? Stephanie Stein, how we doing?
Not bad for a Friday afternoon, Bill. Pretty smooth sailing, actually. Accident-free. We like to hear those words, especially on a Friday. You'd see we're a little bit slow on 526 westbound that's leading up to the Don Holt Bridge, but things have actually improved over the last half hour or so. Just taking a live look outside, you can see everything running smoothly there, leading up towards the west side of 526. A live look outside, traffic moving into Mount Pleasant, no issues.
Many folks across the country and right here in South Carolina are still struggling financially during the pandemic. What the chairman of the Federal Reserve says needs to happen, and needs to happen quickly.
Good news, the power's back on, so it's game on here at Goose Creek. We preview our Live 5 Game of the Week when we come back.
As we Americans wait to see who will win the White House, the U.S. economy is still struggling because of the pandemic. And as John Lawrence reports, the U.S. is dealing with massive unemployment and no guarantee a stimulus package will come anytime soon.
The U.S. economy is showing some signs of recovering from a rough second quarter.
The housing sector has fully recovered from the downturn, supported in part by low mortgage interest rates. Business investment has also picked up.
But Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, says COVID-19 is still crushing the economy.
Overall economic activity remains well below its level before the pandemic, and the path ahead remains highly uncertain.
Roughly 751,000 Americans claimed first-time jobless benefits last week, according to the Labor Department.
Every state's got the same problem. Every state has massive unemployment claims that it's paid much more than they expected.
Powell says a stimulus package would benefit the country, especially those who have lost their jobs due to COVID-19.
I think we'll have a stronger recovery if we can just get at least some more fiscal support when it's appropriate, when it's appropriate and the size Congress thinks it's appropriate. I do think that will likely.
But Americans are going to have to wait. Stimulus talks between House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin are at a stalemate. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says a stimulus bill might be considered before 2021. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
According to exit polls, the economy and COVID-19 were top issues for voters.
Here in South Carolina, a recent report shows a sharp drop in new business licenses, a strong indicator of the impact this pandemic is having on small businesses. The state's Small Business Chamber of Commerce says one of the biggest sectors impacted are personal services, places like gyms. It says the drop in business licenses is particularly alarming because small business makes up for most new jobs around the country. State leaders also say businesses need another round of stimulus and not another shutdown. Now, Live 5 recently talked with Small Business Chamber and local business owners. We'll have that full story on our website for you at live5news.com. Right now, we've got some breaking news for you out of Berkeley County, where county officials say 15 employees have tested positive for COVID-19. In response to those positive tests, the permitting and planning office was closed this week and is set to reopen on Monday. The treasurer's office will be closed next week as well and is scheduled to reopen on the 16th. A drop box will be set up outside of the building for anyone needing to make a payment. Berkeley County officials say protections such as plexiglass barriers and PPE are in place, and daily cleaning also takes place.
A new office and retail space coming to the upper part of the downtown Charleston Peninsula. It's set to go on Morrison Drive near Brigade Street. The State Health Department says the property used to be a Charleston truck service site and Martha Lou's Kitchen, which recently closed down. The proposed space will be called the Morris and include offices and retail stores. Because a part of the property used to be used for a gasoline refueling station, health leaders say there may have been some environmental pollution. So they're asking you, the public, to weigh in on a proposed cleanup contract. We have a link to that on live5news.com.
Now, your first alert forecast from Live 5 News.
Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Bill Walsh. Hope you had a great Friday so far. You ready for the weekend? Not bad. A couple of showers here and there, but almost spring-like versus, where we should be this time in November. You can see those showers pinwheeled on. Joey Sovine earlier this morning was talking about those showers coming in with that weak coastal trough. That's pretty much what we've had throughout the day. You can see those showers moving right across parts of Dorchester on up into Colleton County. Still a few showers back here down along the coast, so don't be surprised if you're going out on this evening. Maybe a football game, going out to do that grocery run. Yep, we are talking about a few raindrops. In fact, our live camera out there at the Charleston Harbor Fish House Sky Cam there, taking a look at the USS Yorktown, the Laffey, and the Double Diamonds in the distance with mostly cloudy skies. Temperature right now kind of mild and muggy, I guess. So you can kind of feel it in the air right there. What 73 is where we are. Normal, by the way, normal high is about that. We've got a rising barometer, 30.26 inches. Humidity, 79%. So as we take a look around the low country, if you're heading out, like I said, low 70s right now, over to Johns Isle, maybe over to dinner toward Folly Beach, about 72 degrees. Back out toward Hanahan, maybe some football games going on, talking low 70s all the way back to North Charleston, as well as out to Walterboro. How about this? We are still kind of mild and kind of muggy. In fact, right now it's 70, 74 at SC State up in beautiful Orangeburg. Somerville, Goose Creek, Monk's Corner, back to Kingstree, 70. There it is. And, of course, you know what that is. That's Neesmith up there, the home of Ann McGill, where every day is Ann McGill Day. All right, look at this, upper 60s right along the coast from Georgetown, back down toward McClellanville. Heading out to the gridiron tonight, you're just going to go out and do some grilling. We've got a few showers we'll keep in our forecast, but again, diminishing 7, 8, 9 o'clock tonight. Upper 60s, that chance of showers, though, does go down as we make our way on into the after dinner hours. There it is on the weather map. High pressure to the north, weak coastal trough right here, kind of driving in that moisture. So later, mostly cloudy, drying out a little bit. And then into tomorrow, guess what? More of the same, kind of a ditto forecast. Again, that easterly wind component, few showers here and there, not all the time. So if you're going out, just keep an eye to the sky. Again, we're going to talk about a few clouds kind of mixing. So, you know, Future Tracker kind of shows you what happens before it happens to give you that first alert. Here we are, 5 o'clock. Put the clock into motion. Showers start to diminish a little bit later on as we head for 11 o'clock and overnight. Might see a little patchy fog when you wake up with us at 6 in the morning, so definitely check in with Stephanie early at 6. And then as we make our way through lunchtime tomorrow, variable clouds, some peaks of sunshine, about the same with maybe a spotty shower in the afternoon. Bottom line, our eye, of course, as always, on your next 24 hours, mostly cloudy for the overnight hours. Here it is as we roll into Saturday, a mixture of sun and clouds, keeping that chance, as we say, Bill, right, a smidgen of a chance at about 20%, especially along the coast. And then into tomorrow night, mostly cloudy. On the waters, if you've got fishing plans for tomorrow, not a great beach day, but small craft advisories are going to be flying really for the next few days. A lot of wind out there, so be careful. Northeast at about 15 to 20 early, picking up, especially offshore, around 15 to 25. Looking at a few showers possible. High tide's going to be right there after lunch. By the way, the water temperature at 68. Let's talk about the tropics. Speaking of water temperature, this is Ada, a tropical depression now, trying to get better organized over the warm Caribbean. It's forecast to become a tropical storm again. Again, this is the current position, 1002 on the pressure. Forecast track does take it off to the north and east and then recurves the storm back toward the west and back into the Gulf of Mexico. Not as a major hurricane at this point, but maybe a stronger tropical storm. And some of the models actually pick it up and then move it northeast out of the Gulf and then out to the Atlantic along a long wave trough. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on that for you. But again, just shows you what kind of crazy year this is. We have a crazy hurricane season too. All right, let's talk about the 7-day forecast. Slight chance tomorrow, 20%. Going to 30% chance on Sunday. Then Monday, 79 to 30% chance. Better chance of rain into Tuesday and Wednesday and into early Thursday. But look at these temperatures. Wow, what happened to fall? We're in the spring. We got to get fall back. Gotta get that fall back. All right, what about that drive home, Stephanie Sign? How are we doing out there?
Not bad here, Bill. Another check-in with our traffic flow map. We do have one issue on the map this evening. Not a big one, but a stalled car right along 26 eastbound. This is near exit 212. That's right at 526. So keep that spot in mind. Not a big issue, though. As we look live outside, you can see 526 Westmoreland Bridges off into the distance, heading towards North Charleston. No issues.
Well, the high school football playoffs begin a week from tonight for public schools. And tonight, our Live 5 game of the week features 2 teams headed to the postseason.
Goose Creek and Somerville peaking at just the right time. And our Justin Beagle live now from the home of the Goose Creek Gators to get us set up for the big matchup. And Justin, I think you got power again, don't you?
We do, Bill. Really quickly, look over my left shoulder now. You can see the lights just came on about 5 minutes ago. Now, going back to this game, I spoke with both of these head coaches yesterday, and they told me, you know what, this isn't really a playoff game, but they're going to treat this like one, more of a tune-up for those postseason games that begin next week. Of course, Goose Creek coming off its second consecutive region championship. They're playing some very good football right now, and they have to make a run at another lower state, maybe championship this year. Got to get past Carolina Forest, that team that defeated them just a year ago. And Somerville, they may be the hottest team in the Low Country right now, coming off of some very impressive games against Fort Dorchester and Berkeley. again last week. Now, we mentioned due to those power outages, tonight's game has been pushed back from 7:30 to 8 o'clock. So be mindful of that and think about traffic as you're making your way up here to Gibson Stadium for tonight's football game. We'll have more highlights and reaction from this game and others at 11:15 coming up on Friday Night Lights. For now, reported in Goose Creek, Justin Beagle, Live 5 News.
All right, thanks, Justin. Now, this weekend, Clemson will be facing off against one of its toughest opponents, Notre Dame, without Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence recently tested positive for coronavirus, and under the ACC's COVID-19 protocols, individuals who test positive need to quarantine and not take part in any team activities for 10 days. Now, since Lawrence tested positive last Thursday, that counts as day 1, and if you do the math, day 10 will be tomorrow.
This weekend, the Gamecocks will be facing off against Texas A&M at home. The two will face off tomorrow with kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. The Gamecocks coming off last week's bye. They're at 2 wins and 3 losses in the season right now.
Coming up, Veterans Day is next week. How you can honor the men and women who have served and are serving our country.